Hey good people, welcome back to Beauty in the Frizz. My name is Cara. Whether you're new or returning, thank you so much for stopping by and hanging out with me today. So y'all, it is so funny because this is a kid-free, I guess, Saturday and Sunday. And you'd think I'd have a mimosa. You'd think I'd be in here partying, right? But Tyrone and I just got back from a baby shower that was outside and it is hot in Baltimore. Like, it's hot. So this is what I have. I will have a mimosa tomorrow because the boys won't be back yet. But this is, what is this? Splash Blast Pineapple Mango Flavored Water. I know, boring, but it is hot, y'all. I don't know what else to do. I'm trying to hydrate so I can have some drinks later. It's so crazy because, so Tyrone and I have been together for a little over a year. And we have not been out on a date. The only place that we've gone is we went to go get pizza and we went to a park and ate. This is when we like first got together. That's the only place we've been, like with COVID and everything. This baby shower was like the first place that we went, and we actually have a wedding tomorrow, which is today. So those are outings for us. But with the night being free tonight, I probably should have did the whole intro, but whatever. With the night being free tonight, we kind of don't know what to do. Like, I think we feel like we should go out, but I think we also feel like I don't want to do anything. You know what I mean? We want to watch this movie called Old, which is M. Night Shyamalan. If you like his type of movies, he can be kind of hit or miss, but like, I could do that and order some food, but like, I'm not even hungry. I ate so much food at the baby shower. Oh my God. Okay. He's playing Call of Duty, so I'm gonna do this. This is my May makeup roundup, and I'm doing this video in fear that time is gonna get away from me like it did for April, and I won't have it done till July. So we're not doing that this time. If you wanna go ahead and see what I tried out in the month of May, keep watching this video. Let me know what you think. And if makeup is your therapy, if it's your love, if it makes you happy, and you want to hang out with another enthusiast that feels the same way, definitely consider joining the community. I'd love to have you back. All right, let's get started. So the boys are at my dad's house, and yeah, it's funny, the first time that my dad took them, they acted like they were with a stranger. Like, this was a couple years back, I guess, at this point. Like, they called me crying, and I was just like, I can't do this. But you know, I shipped them off. I shipped them off because they need to spend time there, and I need to get myself together here. Let's go ahead and get started on this monthly roundup. I'm excited. I really love just coming back and revisiting the things that I tried to see whether or not I still like this stuff. Do I have the same sense of joy that I felt when it arrived in that package on my doorstep? Or is it over? Let's go ahead and get started. Eyeshadow palettes are last, as always. Now, let's start out with something different. Let's start out with a fragrance because I ended with a fragrance last time. Let's start out with one. So this in here, I think I have mentioned this before. It's only a little bit left. This is the House of Sillage Batman perfume. What is this called? Vengeance. Is it Vengeance or Hero? Hold on, let me check. This is called Hero. Vengeance is the male fragrance. Now, you could not blindly buy this. And this is why I found someone on eBay to sell this, or to sell a sample, because you definitely could not blindly buy this. It's a very odd scent. Let me read you the notes. We have top notes as candied apple, pear leaves, and magnolia. And that's, you know, supposed to be what you smell initially. I smell a little sweetness with it, but I'm not sure. The heart notes, which you smell in the middle, kind of, that's the smoky rose, violet, and leather accord. There's definitely some leather there. And then the base notes, which is what's gonna be left on your skin at the end once this just kind of all dries down. We have sandalwood, musk, patchouli, moss, and warm vanilla. After a while, I do smell the combo of the vanilla sandalwood, which is one of my absolute favorite scents when I combine essential oils. Those are two that just, They just go so well together. So let me just spray this really fast. So in an odd way, because no one's gonna explain it like this. In an odd way, it smells like apple gasoline. I know it doesn't sound appealing at all. In a Gotham-y way, with some leather. It's really strange, y'all. Hold on, let's do this. And you can't spray a lot of it. You really can't. This lasts like all day long, but initially you're gonna be like, woo! Because nobody wants to smell like gas. You know what I'm saying? And you do smell kind of a rose in there, but when it dries down, that's where the like for this fragrance comes from. I just don't know if I can pay that price right now. I definitely can't pay the full price, but what I'm learning about House of Sillage here is that they have lots of sales, because I now have acquired the Wonder Woman fragrance because that was 50% off. So this Batman fragrance, one of the combos, those are like 30% off. So maybe I'll just wait till it goes 50% off, because I don't know. My mom and Ariel said it was nice. But yeah, you have to let it dry down and you can't spray a whole lot, or you will smell like Gotham with a side of apple gasoline, like a sweet gasoline. I'm sorry, I don't know how to describe fragrances at all. Trying to get better, but that's that for fragrances. That is the only new scent that I tried this month, or in the month of May. And it's like addictive to smell at the same time. You know, like, I've always kind of liked the smell of gas. So that's another thing. Okay, enough. Now I've got a plethora of lipsticks to go ahead and talk about. Let's talk about the most recent. Now we have these Juvia's Place Nubian Earth lipstick shades, and I did a try on video for Mimosas and Makeup last Sunday, and these are a hit. They are a hit. Now, if you don't like lipsticks with fragrance, and this isn't a floral fragrance at all, it's like a vanilla birthday cake smell. I don't mind it, but when I was talking to one of my friend Steven, he was saying he likes the lipsticks, but he can't get past the smell. So, what it made me realize is that a fragrance doesn't have to be floral, because when I think of smells I can't do too well with, if it's overpowering, is a floral scent. But vanilla scents and scents that are pleasant to me can still be, too strong. So these definitely have a birthday cake vanilla scent. I personally love it. And I think these lipsticks for a matte formula, for any formula, like forget saying for a matte formula, so creamy. And I did compare the creaminess of these to my YSL lipsticks, which I am going to show in a second. Look at the beautiful embossing on this lipstick. This shade right here, and talking to you guys, this shade Nile, I think is the most unique out of the bunch, because it's almost like a yellow toned brown shade. I think this is really different from the other lipstick shades I have in my collection. Now there were 6 lipsticks. I purchased 5 of them because the shade Sheba was super dark, but we have the shade Morocco. Just gonna go through them really quick. And my lipstick video on this, I can link it. It's not long at all, it's like 13 minutes. We have Nubian Sand. Now, talking to my friends here on Instagram, a lot of people kind of feel like Nubian Sand is going to be a bit light for them. It definitely gave me the foundation lip look. So you're going to use that one with a liner. And then we have Soil, which is kind of a red base. Look at that. So gorgeous. And then we have the shade Clay, which is another kind of reddy brown shade. These are $15. They are absolutely excellent and have no regrets purchasing them. And I would say if you're interested, maybe even wait for a sale, because I know that those go on sale. The other lipsticks that they've had, like the Nudes, the Reds, those have been on sale. So maybe you could wait. Maybe they'll go down to like $8 or $9, which is an even better deal. But $15 each for that type of quality, no complaints at all. So I don't think I addressed these in the video. I know I've worn them, but I don't think I've actually talked about them too much. These are my YSL Beauty Slim Radical Matte lipsticks. Now I purchased these during the Sephora VIB sale, and the first shade we have here is called Unreleased Nude. Now this is kind of a, what do we call it? Dusky rose. So again, we have another creamy matte. I think that these feel similar to the Juvia's Place lipsticks. This has a slight floral scent. I think this is more pleasant than the Gucci scent, and I think these feel way better than my Gucci lipsticks, although I love my Gucci lipsticks as well. So we have Unreleased Nude, and then Limitless Cinnabar, which is another one that is so good. And I think this is pretty similar to one of those Juvia's Place shades, one of those red base shades. We're still not down to the vanilla sandalwood smell yet. Still a little bit gassy. All right, anyway, these are great. Now, YSL does have sales on their site, 20% off. Last time I checked, they were having a sale, and then I just didn't look. I don't know if these are on sale yet. Sometimes these are excluded because these are their newest lipstick formula, but these are great. Love these. If you can try them out, these and the Shine Bomb ones, those are great too. I tried those back in 2020, and I really like their lip products a lot. But yes, these are the newest ones. They are great. Now we also have here the Gucci matte lipstick, and this is the shade They Met in Argentina. I actually had no intentions of purchasing this, but one day I had the rare pleasure of being in Sephora, and I saw these and I was like, ooh, because they said they didn't have them in store. And then I just bought one because, I don't know, I felt like I was getting something special because they weren't supposed to be in the store. I know. So here we have a liquid matte lipstick. I really love this color a lot. There it is. Do we need it? No. Do I love it? Yes. Oops. Now I think I got some on my nose. Dries down really nicely. Haven't watched a whole lot of reviews on these at all because I had no intentions to buy. But I'm gonna use it. I mean, I'm not wasting my $42. Love this, and this reminds me that I have one more lip product that I wanna show you guys because I feel like the shade could be similar. I don't think this is a necessity. I mean, obviously none of this is a necessity, but I mean, I don't think there's anything stand out about this compared to, let's say, my Cloud Lab lip clays from Kaleidos, or I'm trying to think of other, now I'm drawing a blank for the liquid lipsticks that I use. I can't think right now, but and that's the point. This is not a standout. I just really like the shade, but I'm sure I could find a similar shade in something that is totally more affordable. Let me grab the other lipstick, hold on. And as I'm continuing to smell this Batman fragrance, I don't know if I could purchase this. I don't know if I would really use it. If I layered it, what would I even put it with? I don't know what I would even put something like this with. So if you were thinking about it, I'm just saying. I need a smaller quantity, the travel size or something. I don't know. Okay. This is the Maybelline Superstay Vinyl Ink lipstick. Now I had looked at these on a new makeup releases video, kept saying I wanted to try them, and finally did. Oh, and surprise, surprise, it is a very similar shade to the Gucci one. Now, the difference with this is that this is supposed to have a vinyl dry down and finish. And I let my sister try it. She said it stayed really well. Now, I definitely trust her because she's the one that kind of got me into the liquid lipsticks, because at first I was like, why does it feel like this? She's like, they will not move, you know? This is the shade Peachy. Now, what I will say about these is these have a stickiness to them. And I don't know if that's because it is a vinyl. Now, it's not super shiny at all, but it's not matte either. So these have really nice staying power, but I don't know if everybody will enjoy the fact that it has a sticky feel to it. So if you've tried these, let me know. You can't find these anywhere. The only place I've seen them is online at Ulta. So if you've tried these, let me know. Yeah, definitely sticky though. So if something like that bothers you, then these may not be for you. I will continue to use this. Am I gonna buy any more shades? I don't know, but they have really nice shades in this format. Now for my April roundup, I talked all about the Dior Addict Lip Shine lipsticks and how much I just adore them. I really do. But this month, I focused on more of the matte shades that I purchased, and I do have a satin. And when I say matte, I'm talking about the Dior matte formula as well as the velvet formula. And then I did buy one satin. Now, I hope I have them all with me. Let's see. Okay, let's start with the satin. This, I think, may be one of my favorite shades right now, just period. This is the shade Saint Germain, and that's what it looks like. Let me just show you a little swatch. And there's the shade. I love this shade on my lips, and I love the satin feel. The Dior lipsticks smell like baby powder to me. So if you don't like scent, that might not be one that you will like. We have the shade 720, which is Icon, and there she is. And she is a velvet. I really love this shade a lot. Very pretty. Here's the shade 300, Nude Style. This is a velvet, and there it is. I know I still owe a try on video. I do. Just have not had time to like sit down and really like try on everything. But we have next the shade 840, Marionette, another velvet, and there it is right here. It's like a beautiful red orange. We have number 200, which is Nude Touch, another velvet, and there she is there. And right away, I already know I'm missing, I'll have to show it in June. I don't know where it is, but it's the shade Rouge Orange, which is a bright orange matte, which is also really pretty. But I love these. Again, I would get them on sale. 15% off is the most I've seen them on sale, but it's better than no percent off. I really, really love those. Okay, that's gonna be it for the lips and the fragrance. I did not try any new face products in May. Just been using kind of what I have. So let's go to the eye stuff. And we're gonna start with these gel liners from Lethal Cosmetics. I have had these. I have the ones from the Teresa is Dead collection, and now I have the ones from the Night Flower collection. These are amazing, and I cannot believe it's taken me so long to use them. Now, I did hear that these may possibly dry out quickly. I am not sure about that as of yet. So I do keep this little plastic tab on here in hopes that it will prolong the, you know, the longevity of these. But these are great. I've used them on the lid, the lower lashes. I have not used them as an eyeshadow base, but I'm hearing that you can use them as a base. I don't have any plans to purchase any more of these because I think I have like 5 of them, and that honestly is going to last me for a very long time. If I was to run out, I would definitely consider getting more, but these are going to take me a while to go through. I'm so glad that I finally decided to try these out. I really enjoy them. So if you were curious about them, I think they're really good. Kind of along the lines of the Melt gel liners, same thing. And I just feel like with these, you really do get a lot of product because you only use but so much, you know, unless I'm going to be using it as an eyeshadow base. But again, I haven't done that yet. So that's probably something that I want to try out. And I will have to keep you all posted on like whether or not I feel like these are drying out quickly, you know, as time goes on. But right now it's too soon to tell because I just opened them in May. So These are great though. I really like them, and I like the color choices as well. All right, the most exciting part, the eye palettes and singles. Let's start with the singles that I used in May. I did a video swatching all of my Looksy Beauty eyeshadows, and I think that the Looksy brand is kind of overlooked and underrated. I think for the quality of, not even for the price, but just the quality of eyeshadows, period, no matter the price, I think that, I don't know who that was walking down the street. I think that the quality of these are amazing, but the price is even better because I don't think they have a shadow that's over $350. And the other thing that's really notable is that the choices of matte shades that are available with this brand are great. There's just a lot of nice, vibrant mattes that some brands don't have. I always talk about how Sydney Grace doesn't have a lot of bright, vivid, vibrant mattes. And I love the Sydney Grace mattes, but when I was looking for some more vibrant colors, I went to Looksy because I knew that they would have a wide selection. And again, the price is great, and when they have a sale, I mean, you're getting some eyeshadows for $2.50. I think that they must have upgraded their shimmers because they are excellent. They really are. If you are looking to get into eyeshadow singles or indie makeup, I would start with Looksy just because it's not gonna break the bank if you wanna just try out some singles. And sometimes they have like little bundles because they don't have palettes, but they may have a bundle, like they had the Butterfly Kisses bundle. And you can get a whole bundle for like $21, something like that. So I would check them out if singles are something that you want to get into. You can do that without really spending a fortune, you know what I mean? Just to see if you like it. So I was really glad to revisit my Looksy singles in May. Now with, you know, this roundup, you see that there is a mixture of old things and new things. So I just wanted to share that because some of these things are discontinued. And let's start with the KKW Beauty and Winnie Harlow collab palette. Now I use this in a palette rotation video. This was always a palette that I enjoyed, and I just wanted to pull it out and see if I felt the same way about it as I felt in 2020 when I purchased the palette. And I did feel the same way. I think that this was a really well put together palette. And what I like about it is that this palette can go from day to night really, really easily. And I think the performance of the palette is really good. I think that, you know, KKW Beauty didn't get the greatest rap just because of Kim Kardashian, you know what I mean? But I think this one was good. I know a lot of people broke down and tried the brand when it was closing and when things went on sale and when she had the camo palette, but I've always been a fan. So, you know, her new brand, Skin by Kim, you know, she's starting out with a skincare launch. I'm not sure if she's gonna have makeup or, you know, or when it's coming. I think she is gonna do some makeup, but we'll just have to see. But until then, I'll keep my little KKW beauty palettes that I have and, you know, try to make sure I revisit them and enjoy them. Now I also pulled out the Urban Decay Naked Honey palette. I want to say I used this in a palette rotation video. I do think this may be one of their better palettes, but I hate to say it, I kind of feel like, is it over for Urban Decay? All of the releases that they're coming out with now just are missing the mark. It seems like for everyone. I just don't see anyone really feeling excited about it. I don't see that. I think this was a good palette. I'm gonna hold on to this, and you know, I was glad to pull it out. I think there's a nice selection of kind of those honey shades that you can make some really, you know, cute neutral go-to looks, or you could use this to combine with some eyeshadow singles if you want like pops of color or something like that. So glad to pull this out. Now I also tried the Natasha Denona Lila palette for the first time last month, and I mean, there's no surprise here. This is an awesome palette. If you like purples, this is gonna be great for you. And you can do, oh, it's my children. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. So the Lila palette is great. I really like this color story, and I think, I don't know if I said this already, but I think that even though it is a purple palette, I still think you can get different looks with it. So it's not just gonna be like purple, monochromatic purple. Like you've got pink, you've got fuchsia, you've got neutral there. So I really like this palette a lot. I'm glad to have it. I think it's very true to Natasha Denona's eyeshadow formula, like with the really creamy, buttery mattes. I just think it's a really nice palette, and I was glad to finally try it because I have had this palette for several months and had not had a chance to use it. So yes to this. I'm gonna quickly mention Gemini 2. I did mention it in my April favorites because that was from my initial trying out of the palette, and then I tried it again in a palette rotation video. And I think the trick to this one for me is less is more. Using less shades work better for me, and so that's what I'm gonna do with this palette. I kind of think it's a shame because I just had more expectations from it than what I got. The quality is great, the mattes are great, the shimmers are too deep for me, for those two shimmers to be the only two. I wish there was a light peachy one there, but you know, I can always bring one in. But for the price, you know, you don't always want to bring in something else. So I wouldn't call this a fail. I would just say it's not my favorite palette by Melt. An oldie but goodie that I tried in the same video as the Gemini palette is the BH Cosmetics Sweet Shops Cherry on Top palette. I still love these. I still talk about these palettes a lot in my videos because I think they're just that good. Still, you know, waiting to see what BH is going to be like under the Makeup Revolution branch, but these are really good. And I know some people are finding them at Marshall's or TJ Maxx. I haven't seen them, but I would say you can, if you can find these, yeah, I would grab them because these are great and they aren't coming back. So I love this one. I love it. And you know, the look I created with this, it was actually like a really bright pink look. It wasn't even red, but I like that you have the ability to go red, you know, or go deeper if you want to. But I chose to create a bright monochromatic pink look with this palette, so love this one. I did try out a Lethal Cosmetics eyeshadow palette for the first time. This is the Night Flower palette. I really like this one, and although this is a purple color story as well, you've got some options with the blue. These two right here, it's kind of like a purple blue here. I love the gray. I love the mattes in this palette, and I just think it is a really good palette. This peachy duochrome shade was really nice. It's like a, not peachy, it's like a pink gold duochrome. I thought that was a great shade. Overall, I thought this was a great palette, and I waited a while to use this palette, but I'm so glad that I finally gave it a chance because I really, really like it. And even though the Lila palette is purple, this one to me offers a completely different color story with the shades of purple that are in this palette. So I love this one. I also revisited my Chanel quad. This is number 364, Candor et Seduction. I used this in my red eyeshadow video along with 3 other palettes, the Gemini 2, the Cherry on Top, and the Dior Red Tartan, which I'm gonna show in a little bit. But this might be, it was kind of a tie between this and Cherry on Top for my favorite red eyeshadow palette. I think that sometimes with the luxury beauty, people think they're not pigmented and things like that. But I also think you have to pay attention to who you're watching use these palettes because it just depends. But I know, I don't want to say I know, but a lot of luxury beauty creators that I've seen, they use the eyeshadows in a softer way. You know what I mean? But if you want to do like a red smoky eye with like a lot of pigmentation, you can definitely acquire that with this. And I know a lot of people were surprised, like, what, really? I'm like, yeah. The shimmers are not going to be your indie shimmers though. They're gonna be These are more, well, in this quad in particular, more of a satin shimmer. It's not going to be something you see from afar. In fact, you may not even realize that it's a shimmer right away. But that's just the nature of the shimmers that I've seen in, well, this is the only one I have, but when I've seen other people use the Chanel quads. But these 3 mattes are so good. And even though they look really similar, this is another instance where like you don't need to use all 4. You know, you can make a look with 1 shade or 2, and then you can really see the variation in those mattes. Same thing with the Gemini mattes. The variation, you're not gonna see them if you're gonna do an eyeshadow look with like 6 shades the way I normally do. So it's kind of a less is more concept. I still love this, and I remember buying this and saying, oh my God, like this is so expensive. And I think maybe for that reason I made sure like I'm getting my use out of it, because I was like, wow, this is like, these are pricey. I think this might have been like the first like luxury like eyeshadow, like, I mean, aside from Pat McGrath, like, but from like the Chanel, Dior, like type brands, this was like the first time where I bought something like that. I was gonna make sure I use it, and I still do, and I still love it, so that's good. Now in May, I also tried my hand at pastel eyeshadows, and I did a Clarity Cosmetics So Amazing versus Natasha Denona pastel video. And oh, the shade broke again, shoot. Now here's the So Amazing palette. I can't hold it all the way up because the shade Oh Ship broke, but the shimmers in the So Amazing palette, like look, I mean, from afar, these are standout shimmers. They are sparkly, they are shiny, they are gorgeous. The mattes are okay. They do leave a bit to be desired as far as variety. 2 of the mattes in here have slight differences. One is like a blue and one is a green, but I still don't feel as though this palette really has any depth to it, but the shimmers are great. You really have to be careful with them, and you know, use a glitter glue and all that kind of stuff. So these shimmers might not be for everyone. Like you really have to like sparkly shimmy shimmers, and these have it. And then after I used that palette, I decided to go ahead and purchase the Natasha Denona pastel palette, because this was not on my list to purchase at all. And the first time I used this palette, I didn't even like the look I created, so I didn't film that look, or I didn't share that look. But the second time around, using a denser brush, the denser brush really did it for me, because it allowed me to use those mattes. And even though the denser brush really made this palette work for me, because even though the mattes took a little more building because they're pastels, the denser brush really made it easy. And I feel like I got the same pigmentation that was in the pan using the denser brush. The cream shades were really nice, and the shimmers were nice as well. And I think what really enhanced the look when I did this was using a really deep liner. I think I used a deep teal, and then I might have also used one of these lethal gel liners as well, a purple one, and it really made that look pop, like with the contrast of the deep liners and the kind of ethereal pastels. I like this one better than the Clarity palette, and this was actually a really pleasant surprise. So yeah, I'm glad I gave this one a chance. So I kind of don't feel like you can really go wrong like with the Natasha Denona palettes, but oh, that's a lie. That's a lie. Sorry. Zen-No. The Zen-No palette didn't work for me, so take that back. But was pleasantly surprised by this one. All right, getting more recent now, we tried the Notoriously Morbid Eclipse the Sun palette. And this is a majority shimmer palette with 2 mattes here. And I created 2 looks. Now, I will say this. This is not my favorite Notoriously Morbid palette. I think one of the things that attracted me, and let me grab it, this will be in the next month's video because I'm working with it now, but what drew me into Notoriously Morbid were the palettes like this. And this is the We Don't Always palette. This palette right here it is fantastic. Well, the look I created is fantastic. I'm still working on that, but and I'll have my like final thoughts in the June roundup. But this is yes, okay. So this palette, the Eclipse the Sun, and then another one they came out with this year around Valentine's Day was the Rose from the Dead. They're great palettes. The formula is the same. It's just a softer side. Now, for me, it's not my favorite by the brand, but I'm glad to see the versatility in the brand, because then I think that people who like softer looks may look at Notoriously Morbid and say, oh, there's something for me here. Like, I would like to try this brand out, if that makes sense. Because if everything they come out with is grungy, it's not going to appeal to, it's going to appeal to me, but I think you can get a different base of people who would like to try a palette. And the fact that you have this amount of shimmers in the palette makes it easier for someone who has trouble navigating through indie makeup to not have to go and pick out singles. You kind of have all these in the palette. Now, the last thing I want to say about this, and I wish I had done this in my video, and maybe I need to come back and do it. When you see some of the swatches, I've heard some people say, Cara, your swatches look different than the swatches on the site and things like that. I have no idea what people use when they swatch. I don't know if people swatch over a primer. I also don't know if some content creators swatch over a black base. So I kind of want to come back and maybe do some swatches over the black base compared to no base, and maybe we can see the difference, and maybe they will look as opaque as I've seen some of the shimmers look. Because I do agree, like sometimes when I look at my shimmers versus the shimmers that I see other content creators do that work with Notoriously Morbid as well, they look more opaque. I wonder if they are using a base under their shimmers or a primer. I don't know. So that was just something to think about, and it's actually something I'm really curious about. So maybe on Instagram I'll have these swatched again so you can compare and see both. So just so you know. But I do think this is a good palette. It's just not my favorite palette by Notoriously Morbid, but the shades are beautiful. They really are. And I think Notoriously Morbid is just a really great brand, super creative. I just love how everything is handmade. I just love their eyeshadow palette themes and their color stories. So I'm glad to have this one as well. This was one of the highlights of my May eyeshadow palettes though. This is by St. Angel Sinners. And this is the Follow Your Dreams palette, and this is a collab. I'm just gonna call her Smink, and she is on Instagram. I mean, look at this. I think that this palette is one of the best I've bought this year. I really do. You've got a range of mattes that can give so many different looks, and you have a range of shimmers, and you have different shimmer formulas all in one palette. I know there is a pre-order for this on their Etsy shop, and I think that this palette was just well thought out and well put together, and I think it's really inspiring. I think if you're looking for a palette with a unique color story that's going to perform well, this is it. The only thing I may have changed about this palette is maybe the Harmony shade, and it's just a chunkier shimmer than what I care for, but I mean, it's just one shade, and I did use it, and I was able to kind of liquefy it out a bit with the May Round Mixing Medium. So I really don't have any complaints about this palette. I think it's really, really good. I really like this, and I'm glad I took a chance and purchased from this brand, because I have been following them for a while, but I never thought about making a purchase until I saw this palette. So now I'm kind of looking out for St. Angel Sinners. We are almost done. I'm gonna kind of talk about these Dior Velvet eyeshadow quints kind of together. So let's talk about Blue Velvet. Now, Blue Velvet, for someone who is not really into blues, I think this is a perfect color story for me. At first, I wasn't sure about this lavender kind of shade in the middle, but it all goes together so nicely. These colors build up beautifully, and you know, again, less is more. Using maybe 3 of these shadows you don't even need to use all 5. I just made like a beautiful, I call it like a blue fairy, navy blue fairy look, if that's possible. I loved this. I had no problems with it, and you shouldn't for the price, but I'm glad that I kind of went off and purchased that one. Now, the other one that I did film with in May was the Red Tartan. Red Tartan is really similar to that Chanel quad that I showed earlier. And I would have to compare the two of these, but I had only used it once. So the Chanel one is still like one of my favorites, but I love the depth in this palette. I love this brown here is really nice. The red in the middle kind of really makes the palette because it's Red Tartan. And then these kind of satins here, again, they're not gonna be like your shimmy shimmers. You can actually use them as mattes, really. And then you have this kind of, it's another red, but it kind of has like a brown kind of tone to it. I really like this. I like it a lot. If you're someone who just wants to have the looks laid out for you, like, these will do it. And they don't have it in here, but in the old Quints, they would show you like 2 different kind of looks you could do. These don't have it. But they would show you a look, like if you wanted a day look, you would use 1, 2, 3. And then if you want a night look, you would use 1, 2, 3. You know what I mean? Now the other 2 Quints I have the Coral Paisley and then the Rose one. And I'll probably talk more about these in the June roundup, but I just want to show them since I have them all here. But I've used them all. I've not filmed with the Rose one yet, but I'm going to tell you, like, this right here is so good. I love this shade. And I'll talk more about it, but they all perform really nicely. I am not sure if my favorite is going to be the blue or this Coral Paisley. Coral Paisley, my video for Coral Paisley will be up this week. This is the one I initially wanted for this orange right here. And this orange did not disappoint. I used this orange for a smoke shade, believe it or not. And it blended out. It is like butter. You'll see my review of that in this week upcoming. And then I'll talk more in detail about these, the Rose and the Coral Quints in the June roundup. Now let's end off with the Dragon Fruit palette. I'm sure I'll probably talk about this one again next month as well. And the reason being is because I've only used this one time. Now, if you can recall, way back when I was thinking about what I wanted to see for makeup releases this year, this was one of them, the palette by Clionadh. We knew this was coming. It was sneak peeked that there was going to be a palette coming, and I was really excited because I wasn't buying makeup when Clionadh had, I think they had 2 previous palettes way back, and I wasn't buying makeup at that time, so that, I missed that. But I was excited about this. But then when I saw the color story, I was just like, oh my gosh, it's so pink, and I don't know if this is my favorite color story, and it's not. I'm still working with this palette. I did create a look. I haven't done a video yet because I wanted to create more than one look, but I'll be honest, I sat down last week and was just playing around trying to do another look, and I didn't like it. So I just need to take more time. Separately, as separate eyeshadow shades, they're all great. I think that the velvet satin formula that they have in this palette is really good because it really does work like a matte shade. Just like when I say, like, you can do that with some of the Pat McGrath shimmers, you can do the same thing. So I really like that. But it's something about the color story that, it's just not my favorite. I really love, though, I'll tell you so far, Dragon Teeny, which is this shade here. Let me see if we can, Dragon Teeny. I love this one, this topper, Effervescent. This is a great topper shade. It's really, really, really nice. And Strawberry Pear is a beautiful, they're all beautiful in your own right. But as far as like this as a palette as a whole, I just don't think it's my favorite. But I love Fruit Fizz is good. So I'm excited to do more with this palette. I'm not saying it's a fail. I'm not necessarily disappointed, but I knew I was going to feel like this because I kept going back and forth about getting the palette. And I didn't necessarily love the looks that I saw people creating. I hate to say it. We do have a book with some suggested looks that Emily Violet Marie came up with, but I don't necessarily like them. So I am on a quest to make this palette work for me in a way that I would like, and I just haven't figured that out yet. So that's that. Now, while I'm here, because that's going to be it for this video, but I do want to grab the polishes. Now, I am wearing one of the polishes on my toes. I did paint my toes, and it's like why did I have to look at my toes to know that I had the polish on? Because I know I have it on. So we have here the two polishes, Dragantini and Pitaya. I think they're both really pretty. Yeah, they both are. You know, depends on what kind of nail polishes you like. If you like a duochrome nail polish, like you like duochrome eyeshadow, I think you're gonna like these. I don't think they were like overpriced or anything like that. So I was glad to get these. I did not purchase the highlighters. I know a lot of people were raving about them. I haven't even been wearing a whole lot of highlighter because I've been wearing like dewy, what do you call it? Dewy blush. I've been wearing dewy complexion products and dewy glow setting powders. And when I do wear highlighters, I've been going for the more natural looking ones. So I didn't think it would really be good for me to purchase them. And I have all the Kaleidos highlighters if I want to have something that's kind of, you know, different. Or I'm having second thoughts about this Batman. Yeah, I think I'm having second thoughts. Okay, I'm glad I have been revisiting it throughout this video because I don't think I could spend the money on this one. All right, y'all, that's it for the May roundup. I hope you enjoyed kind of hearing these like little speed reviews of everything I tried this month. And I hope that it's helpful to you, like for me to come back and talk about the things that you may have seen me do videos on, or maybe even things that I may have mentioned, like when I'm mentioning face details or something like that, just to give you a little more information about how I'm feeling about these things, and do I still feel like, you know, they're worth having in my collection, or was it like a fail? I don't really feel like I had any like fails per se. I'm curious about how often I would use that Clarity palette, to be honest. And I'm curious about how often I would want to reach for the Notoriously Morbid palette. Now that palette was gifted. I don't think I would really reach too much for the Urban Decay Honey palette because I have other palettes that I know I would really go for more, like neutral palettes like Biba. I now have the Natasha Denona Gold palette. So those three palettes are the ones where I'm kind of like, you know, like, I don't know where they're going to end up in my collection. And I worry about them kind of going to the makeup graveyard, to be honest. So that's just something for me to think about, you know, as I continue to make purchases. I'm really happy with all the lip products though, for sure. The Dior Quints I'm happy about. I'm happy about everything else. Gemini, I just feel like, I don't know. Gemini is I'm kind of in limbo on Gemini right now, but I see Gemini more as a companion palette than anything. And with the Red Tartan, the cherry on top, and the Chanel, Gemini really, I don't know, doesn't, see, Gemini has those deep greens in it too. But that is such a grungy palette. Like, I just don't know if I'm going to use it on its own. Like, I'm not going to be like, let me take Gemini 2 with me for the weekend. Like, that's not happening. So that's another one where I'm kind of like, I don't know. But for the most part, I'm happy with the things that I tried, and I hope this was helpful. So thank you so much for taking out some of your time and hanging out with me for another Mimosas and Makeup. I hope this was therapy for you because it always is for me. So until I see you again, make sure you are being gentle with yourself. Talk to yourself nice, stay safe, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye.